Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back, everybody. This is The Rundown, and I am your host, Drew Johnson. For those that are new to the show, this is the go-to source for exclusive interviews, articles, anything, just giving you guys the rundown on what you need to know. Just wrapped up a QB house, a Midwest bus retreat where we had some Florida dogs on the bus tour. We got some good experience, had them go out there and dominate some of these college camps. For today, I'm going to have a co-host on. I'm going to bring him on here in the set and have him introduce himself. He is the owner of Green Zone Preps and just a good friend of mine who also attended the QB House Midwest Retreat. So welcome to the show, everybody. Coach D. Green.
Yes, what's up? What's up, folks? Thank you, Drew, for having me on, man. It's a pleasure.
Nah, already, bro. My boy already used to this, you know what I'm saying? He already has his own show. And we'll talk about that, another time. We're going to have him on a couple more times as well. So, but our goal for the day is we got a couple guests for you guys, a couple prospects that was on the tour that made some noise, that picked up a couple offers and some interest from these college coaches and programs. We'll have a couple of them on to speak with you guys. But before then, man, I want to get Coach Green's thoughts on the bus tour. What was his overall impressions on the tour, and just giving you guys some insights on what's going on in his head.
Yeah, man. So overall, the bus tour, in my opinion, was a total success. It definitely served its purpose. All the young men that attended the Midwest Best Tour were able to, garnish that attention. A lot of them gained traction with a lot of schools, and there was even some offers gained from the bus tour. So definitely hats off to BJ Hall and his team for putting the bus tour together, as well as the media tour, the media and the writers, i.e. yourself and myself, was able to capture a lot of things that brought attention to the young men and put eyes on, the guys that probably wouldn't have gotten all the attention and some of the notoriety that they got while they were on the tour. So in my opinion, it was an overall success, and I'm excited for what's to come for the young men because just hearing the stories and hearing what has taken place since the tour has gone on, you've seen coaches trying to get back with some of the young men and trying to get their information so they can start that recruiting process. So overall, for me, I think it was a total success.
Appreciate that, Coach. And it wouldn't be right without, shouting out Coach BJ Hall, QB quarterback trainer and recruiting coordinator now for Weber International over there now. Shouts out to bro. This is my third trip with him. Solid brother out there in that Tampa area, trying to build something with the quarterbacks and got some athletes to come on the tour as well. So it's definitely a success for me, man, just to give my insight. The tours are always meaningful coming from where I come from, man. The experience to travel and just meet new coaches and for the kids, just to get a little bit closer to those guys, helping those guys in the recruiting process. As you said, the media team does an excellent job capturing some of those moments, whether it's through the film or through the writing process, man. I think we did a great job smashing the coverage, but it starts with the kids, man. They did a hell of a job at these camps. It's a dog-eat-dog world, dog. You know what I mean? It looks easy, but it is nerve-wracking, and I'm just proud of them boys for going out and putting on for Florida, man, especially being so far away from the crib. And just, it definitely tested my conditioning, as I told you, Coach. 9-10 days on the road in them hotels, and then it's tough, man. But we definitely rocked out with Coach BJ, and I thank the kids, and I just hope they enjoyed it as well, likewise with the parents. But yeah, man, enough of us. You guys are here for these kids. You guys are here for these ballers, man. And our first guest, I want to bring on my top performer on the bus tour this year. We brought in some offers, definitely had a couple before he got on, but well-deserved kid that deserves the recognition. Proud to have him on, 2026 quarterback out of Clearwater High School, Jaylen White. Let's have him on 1 second. What's up, brother? Introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's up? It's Jaylen White, class 2026 quarterback from Clearwater, Florida.
Yes, sir. So, like I said, my boy definitely had a couple D1 offers before getting on the tour, but he ended up picking up 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Some of these coaches wanted to see his elite arm talent in person. They knew he was a mobile kid that can get it done, but they wanted to see that arm talent. Ended up picking up Georgia State, Miami, Ohio, and EKU. But, man, I want to hear it from you, brother. What was your reasoning for joining the tour, and how do you feel like the overall it went for yourself, brother?
My reasoning for joining the tour was exposure, because a lot of schools down in Florida, like some of those schools up north, don't be coming down to Florida to like see people throw. And a lot of coaches during the spring told me to come out to the camps and they want to see me throw in person because it's different than on film and then in person. But just exposure from the north schools, meeting new coaches, and just see how it is playing up there.
And you go ahead, Green. For those that's watching, we're gonna kind of go off each other. I ask a question, Green to ask a question, and we'll just roll like that for the brother. Make it simple for you guys.
Absolutely. So again, hats off to you, Jaylen White. Not only proving to the coaches, but to the writers who were on the bus. I got an opportunity to see you throw at a lot of the camps, man. And I knew for a fact that I rated you my number 1 quarterback on the bus for a reason. I saw it in your spring film, but I needed to just validate that with seeing you in person. And when I did see it in person, I said, I'm glad that I made this decision that I made. But the question that I do have for you is, what do you think the toughest part of going out and trying to perform at your best at each camp?
The toughest part for me was just getting back to the hotel, recover. Some hotels had the pool, and just go in the pool, relax, ice your arm. It's just recovery. Yeah. The toll on your body.
Yeah, and I know that I had an opportunity to interview some of you guys, and I also talked about the mental strain, because it was mentally tough, not only for the players, but as the writers. Just being able to, with that time, get back late, trying to write articles and put things together mentally. And I asked this before in the interview, but just speak to the mental part of the tour. What was that like?
The mental part was pretty hard because people don't know my hip was hurting since the second camp, and I had to push through it the whole entire time. I mean, we had like friends there, so like your mind gets off of football like the whole time, like on the bus and stuff. We have conversations and stuff like that, but it was pretty hard.
Yeah, I can imagine all the little nicks and bumps and bruises that you guys took, even though it wasn't you guys wasn't hitting and stuff like that. But just like I said, riding on the bus for 2 to 3 hours, getting off, stretching, throwing, running, doing it over and over again could possibly cause those little nicks and things that could hinder your performance. But you overcame all adversity, and again, that's why you are who you are, the man of the hour. But one more question that I did have for you: what were most of the coaches saying when the offers came? Did they tell you that, like, man, you're the best thing since sliced bread, or did they keep you humble? What were some of the conversations like with some of the coaches during the camps?
They kept saying I have a very strong arm. The ball jumps out of my hands like real smooth. I have a smooth rotation. Everything's just smooth about me. They just had to put the film and me throwing in person together. Other schools are very interested in me. They had to see what I can do in the fall and see if I can do the same thing I did at the camps. The people that offered me, they said I definitely will be playing higher than their level, like high D1 Power 5. And I'm on a lot of people's radar right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely believe that you're a Power 4 guy. I know you still have 2 years left to show what you can do and show these Power 5s that you can definitely play at that level. So I'm excited to see the growth, to see where you go, man, and the sky's the limit for you. So hats off to everything that was accomplished on the bus tour. And again, man, you're the number 1, you were the number one quarterback on the bus for a reason, and I think you proved to everybody that you was well deserving of that honor. So hats off to you on that, my man. Completely.
Yeah, solid questions from Coach, man. And I know my boy Jay White ain't got his pretty face out today, but that's all good because I'm gonna throw some highlights in for my boy for y'all that's watching. I will be putting in some highlights for these kids, so you can kind of get a visual of what they can do on the football field. You know, we ain't just talking them up, we ain't hyping them up. They the real deal, right? And they earned their way on this show for sure. So I got a couple questions myself, Jay White. I just want to ask you, bro, which college provided, the best atmosphere and in the more competitive environment?
The college I liked the most was Vanderbilt. They ran their camp very smooth. Their campus was very nice. Right in the middle of the city, not like in the country, but it had a lot of stuff around it. So if it's off season and you want to stay in Nashville, you got a lot of stuff to do. Another school was Miami, Ohio. That school was pretty nice, and Ohio State. Ohio State was probably the top school.
Yeah, for sure. And just, man, for the younger recruits watching and for the onlookers, right? Just what goes through your head when you're competing at some of these colleges? As I said, it looks easy on the outside, but when you throwing in front of Heartline, when you throwing that on Ohio State, when you throwing that in front of these big time coaches, like what goes through your mind? And what's some of the things you do to lock in and build that confidence for yourself?
I always tell myself I'm the best quarterback in this camp. No one can stop me. And just feel like you're better than every other kid in that thing, and you can outwork everyone in that camp. Just you're the best. You're the best, and no one can stop you. That's my mindset during all these camps.
Hey, self-motivation. There ain't nothing better than it.
Yes,
we had a little bit of talk, what I'm saying? I know you had something to prove, but I want to hear it from out of your mouth and just kind of reiterate it yourself. Some might have been doubting that you can, throw the ball at the elite level, the power forward level, right? We know you can get it done at the prep level, but there might have been some doubters doubting your arm talent. Do you feel like you accomplished that on the tour this time around? And just what do you feel like you proved to some of these onlookers and some of these doubters on the bus tour, brother?
Yeah, I definitely proved that I can throw the ball way better than everybody else think I can. During our offense, I know I don't throw the ball a lot, but when I have to, I will throw the ball. And I have one of the strongest arms, I feel like, in the country, not just Pinellas County. Pinellas County, I feel like I can dominate that county. Next year, will show that. That's it. Yes, I can throw the ball.
Yeah, and let's wrap it up a little bit. Let's kind of talk about the county a little bit, right? The season coming up. Hey, man, the kid had about 1,800 passing yards, around maybe, I think, more than 500 rushing yards, dual threat quarterback, just a playmaker with the ball in his hands. What can we look forward to as the spring and summer sessions wrap up with Clearwater? You guys got some talent out there, talking to Coach D Green and talking to you. You got Bartow in that first game. We kind of riled each other up a little bit. But just, man, Jay White, for seriously, though, what's the goal for you this season? And what's some of the things we can expect from this Clearwater program?
Clearwater program it's on the rise right now. Our offense is very explosive. Our defense holds teams to, 10 yards in a half, in a half. We're brotherhood right now. We're during the summer. We're all connecting on different ways that we did last year. This season it'll be really big for us.
Yes, sir. And I want to give my boy Coach D Green the courtesy if he got any more questions from my boy.
No, I just wanted to add to what you were speaking to, Jay, about Jay White and the arm strength. There was times at camps and, not really trying to brag, but I would look up and see a perfect pass like on a deep ball. And I'm like, who just threw that? And I look back and I see you leaving from just delivering like a bomb or a post route that's like perfect on the money. And I think that's what really solidified for me about just the arm talent that you have. So Vanderbilt, you heard what he said. You guys were one of the schools that he highlighted. Miami of Ohio, you guys seen what we saw, and you threw the offer. And then also Ohio State. Please don't sleep on this kid. We'll make sure we post his individual stuff where you can find him and where you can follow him. So Power Force, definitely jump on this kid while you have a chance, because the earlier you guys can get traction with him and start that recruiting process, the earlier you can get him up to campus, get him into the you guys' system, and start actively recruiting him. So I just want to throw that little shout out for you and to promote you, because again, you showing the country that you have what it takes to get it done. So that's all I had to add from that standpoint, bro.
Yeah. No, Jay White is one of the success stories on these bus tours, right? Came in with some offers of interest, but left out with Georgia State, Miami, Ohio, and EKU. That's 3 offers from a boy. And I'm sure there's plenty of coaches that got him higher on the board now, just for getting eyes on him and seeing it, right? This evaluation process for scouts, man, and parents for wondering, it's cool to get eyes on kids' films and whatnot. But there's nothing better than having a kid right in front of you throwing or competing, so you can get eyes on him in person, right? The in-person evaluation is most important. But really quick, as I said, the kid left with 3 offers. One of my top performers, if not the top performer, a success story for the bus tour. Jay White, just close this out really quick, man. What's a message you got for the next kid that's coming on the tour next year, a quarterback that might be on the rise, but just wants to build that belief in himself? What's your message to that kid? And just close out, just giving some thanks to Coach BJ and some of the your parents and coaches that's supporting your dream, brother.
The next kid that's coming up and that's doing good in Little League right now, just when you go on this bus tour, keep your head on the line. Don't get distracted on the bus, getting off your mindset. Stay positive. If you have a bad day, make sure the next day is better. I just want to say thank you to Coach BJ. Thank you to my mom. She sacrificed a lot of stuff to get me on this bus tour. All the media teams, keep putting my name out there during this bus tour. And just thank you to everybody that helped me during this bus tour.
Yes, sir, man. As we noted, this kid is just a 2026 prospect. I'll let Coach D Green give his last comments. Still has a couple years, man. Just a stud kid. Gets it done in the classroom. As you guys know, he's a well-spoken kid. Parents support him as well to get him out to these tours. So we'll have Jay White on the show again. I want Coach Green to give his last comments, and then we'll get the young brother out of here.
Yes, sir. So, well, we want to tell you, thank you for taking the opportunity for us to cover you. Mom, thank you for allowing us to cover your son and have him for a week. We got a chance to get to know these young men. More personally, we had an opportunity to even sit down and eat. Jay Wright, remember that Cracker Barrel, and we was able to discuss some things, man. And I got to know him better than I did before he got on the trip. So, an outstanding young man, upright, standing young man. So we just appreciate everyone who played a part in his growth and his development. You guys have done a great job with him, and you guys continue to be that bright light, that shining mentor, whatever it is you are to him. Continue doing that, because you guys has built a great community around him, and he has been successful for it. So we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
But we thank you, Jay White, for joining us today, man. It's been a great time. Thank you for all that you do, and continue being the young man that you are becoming to be.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll have Coach Green reach out to you after this, Jay. Thank you for jumping on, my boy. Just stay locked in, man. As you know, these offers and stuff can go to people's heads, bro. We want the best for you, so just stay locked in and always push yourself, bro. You can always get better. So we'll definitely be talking to you here soon. Thank you for jumping on, bro.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
For sure, brother.
All right.
We ready for that game 1, too. Y'all be ready for that. We're going to be previewing that. Thank you, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right.
Peace. Yeah, so, man, hey, that was the man of the hour, Jay White. We do got another guest on for you guys. But just want to give Coach Green some courtesy, let him hear his thoughts about Jay White. Hey, we're gonna put the highlights in for y'all. You know what I mean? This kid was spinning it. Definitely knew he could run the ball, mobile kid, playmaker, right? But just to watch him, lock in, show that confidence, and be able to deliver the passes in front of these coaches, it's invaluable for these kids to be on this tour, man. But go ahead, let me hear your thoughts, Coach Green.
Yeah, he's definitely raised my eyes. He's moved up on my board. Of course, I'll be putting out my top 5 quarterbacks for Pinellas area, and it's gonna ruffle some feathers, man. Some people may not be, happy with the choices that I make for my top 5, but again, seeing a kid on tape, like you alluded to, seeing a kid on tape versus seeing them in person is 2 different perspectives, especially when the tape doesn't show you everything about the kid. You know what I'm saying? From the standpoint of how he carries himself, how he goes about his business, and how he takes care of business on the field. And again, I was wild at his arm, his release, the quick release, the deep ball accuracy, underneath, like I said in my interview, everything is on point, and he did it consistently on a consistent basis. Was every throw perfect? There were some passes that was behind, but for a large percentage of the time, it was he put the ball only where the receiver can catch it. Yeah. And he did that at some of the biggest camps in front of some of the biggest, talent, and in front of some of the coaches. And like you said, one thing that impresses me also is that when we were at UIndy, and I was explaining this to my other son who doesn't play football, I said, imagine being in a rooster cockfight where you're surrounded by people who's betting on you. That's what it looked like at the UIndy camp. Literally from the 50-yard line to the end zone, and on each side, kids were in a bowl of coaches. So on both sides of the field, it was coaches. In the end zone, so it was like you were spotlighted, one-on-ones, and all eyes were on you. You're away from home, and you talk about being in a place or a position of adversity where everything is on the line. Yeah. The kids that was on the bus stepped up to the challenge, and you see how they came out. Kids was getting offers, and man, it's just hats off to them, because not everybody can handle that pressure. If you were in that environment, a lot of kids may have crumbled, but a lot of the guys on the bus stepped up to the challenge, and he was one of them. And like I said, I was just enamored with, the takeaway. I was enamored with this kid's ability. And like I said, I can't wait to see what comes of this fall, because he's rising. Like, he's at a point now where he has confidence, and he's realized he's tapped into his potential, and it's scary because he said he not only think he's the best in Pinellas, but he thinks he's the best in the country. So that speaks volumes to what this kid is feeling and where he thinks he can be in the next couple of years.
Yeah, big time statement for Jay White. You can definitely tell he got that confidence and swagger, right? It's growing for him for sure. And I kind of jumped the gun, man, just to give y'all the background on the tour, some of the colleges we went to, man. We went to UAB, we went to Vanderbilt, we went to Cincinnati, to Kentucky. Sorry, went to Kentucky first, then Cincinnati, and went to EKU, Ohio State, and then we wrapped up with a couple mega camps at Miami, Ohio, and UIndy. And to finish it off, we stopped at Coach Dill out there at Georgia State. So a damn sure a time-consuming tour, and it tested the boys. Like I said, it tested their conditioning and their confidence for sure. Like Coach Green just said, man, at the UIndy camp, you couldn't even see, but nothing but coaches. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing but coaches, and it's time for the dogs to come out. So definitely these 2 dogs right here did their thing, and that's when we're going to lead into my next guest, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, this guy right here, my top riser on the tour. I had my top performer. This kid was my top riser on the tour, man.
Yes, bro.
Got a couple of insights on my boy. They tried to tell me, man, this kid was a lockdown DB. You know what I'm saying? I see him a little bit. I see him on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't seen him yet. man, it made me a believer, man. The kid got straight struggles, you know what I mean? 2025 DB kid out of Lakewood High School. Just glad to have him on. Picked up a few offers from the tour, but we'll get into that. Let me bring my boy on, man, right now. This is D Green. Shout
Yes,
out,
sir.
man. Let me bring my boy on. Here you go, right here. Introduce yourself to the people, man.
Sir, my name is Damari Green, class 2025, DB out of Lakewood High School, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, coach. Hype my boy up,
Yeah,
man.
man. So hats off to this young man. I try not to get in the way because of course many of you guys may know this is my son. And I try to be not biased in a lot of things that I do concerning him and his recruitment and different things. I try to let him be a man and handle his own. But just speaking from an outsider, like if I hadn't seen him and I didn't know who he was, I would say he would have grabbed my attention right off the bat, like a lot of coaches said. And he went into the mindset, and we kind of discussed that this was a business trip for him, because a lot of kids don't realize in that 25 window, like you don't have many opportunities after the camp circuit season is over. Now you have to really depend on your film because coaches haven't got an opportunity to see you in person. You know, a lot of coaches want to see how you move in the drills, want to see are you coachable, want to see your technique, and they want to see how you are able to adjust on the fly. And I think he answered the bell for all of those things. You know, he checks the box as far as a long rangy DB that can run, and he can hit, he can play special teams. He can definitely be a kid that can come in. And the biggest thing with him is because of you see your 3 and your 4-star, 5 stars. He's right at that level of breaking into that 3-star mode. But I'm gonna get off of him. I'm gonna let him do a lot more talking. I could talk all day, but just man, when you hear the things that he was able to accomplish over this trip and the things that he's done, coaches, you guys definitely need to jump on this kid as soon as possible because I'm pretty sure a big school is gonna come up and grab this kid, and they're gonna lock him up, and it's gonna be over. And you're gonna say, "Man, I had this kid on my list, and I let him go."
Man, hey, coach said, he can go all day, right? That's the young D Green. But hey, man, let's hear from the young brother, man. Just want to ask him, like you said, coach, it's a different perspective than him than the young pup that's on the tour, right? It's the 2025. This kid is going into a senior year, so his mindset had to be a little different. So let me hear from you, Green. Like, what was some of your thoughts going into the tour, and what were some of your reasons going into the tour for one?
Thoughts was really like this really my last like camp season, so every camp I do, I gotta ball out at it. I gotta talk to these coaches. I gotta let them know like, hey, I'm the best one here. I'll say enough about the young pups coming up. I say you gotta invest in yourself. Like you gotta talk to coaches. You gotta let them know like I'm a DB. I'm here. Like no, none of these receivers can sit with me. Like I'm here. You gotta have that confidence. Also, you gotta be humble too. But have that cocky confidence.
No, you got to at the DB position, man. In my opinion, that's the toughest position, besides quarterback. But DB got to be the toughest position on the football field, man. So you got to have that confidence. You got to have that next play mentality. And there weren't too many next plays for you, man, because it was straight struggles. You know what I mean? It was straight lockdown in the 1v1 session. So definitely really proud of this kid. Really good frame. Has a solid film too, man. And I didn't know this kid's a tackler too. Now he'll go put his nose on the ball. So just impressed with this kid as an overall defensive back. But DeMar, let me ask you, man, what were some of the things you wanted to prove, competing in front of these college coaches? As you said, you are a tackler. You are a hard-nosed kid that can be a reliable in that situation. But what did you wanted to show the coaches? You wanted to show them you come out your breaks. You wanted to show them you can use your hands. You got some good technique. What was some of the things you wanted to prove on this bus tour?
Some of the things I wanted to prove was I got good technique. Coaches, they see me tackle, but they wanted to see me in like man coverage. So I can improve that. I can play in man. I can flip my hips. I'm fluent in my hips, and I can on and press too. I can play safety and corner too. So that's really what I can improve.
Yeah. And really quick, you came to prove some things, but brother, still a young man, still a sponge to the game, man. Just talking to some of these defensive back coaches, just being around the game, man. What's some of the things you learned on this bus tour that maybe you didn't know coming into the tour, or some of the things you just added on to your knowledge that you already had?
I actually did really learn a lot. I learned like different leverages. You play head slot and inside that slot.
Yeah.
Another thing is instead of breaking 45, you can break 30 degrees so you get there faster. That's another thing I learned.
Okay. Nah, technique. This kid got it down for sure. He's a reliable tackler. Good frame. I'm gonna let D Green take over really quick because I gotta charge my I gotta get my laptop charger. But go ahead, coach. I know you want to hype him up. That's Junior, right? And y'all don't know the OG D Green get it done too. He got it done too on the football field. So I know he's proud to see his son get it done on this bus tour and pulling some offers. Now I got to mention that as well. This kid did bring in 3 offers from Ball State, from Kentucky State, and there's another one I'm missing that's jumping in my mind right now. But I'm sure Coach Green will fill me in. Let me let Coach Green jump over and let me grab this charger.
Yes, sir. So so he was able to garnish some interest, and as we know, a lot of schools were already on him. You had several camp invites that you were going to, that you were, getting throughout the time that before we left to go into the camp. I will ask you this. What school out of all the camps or that we visited, what school do you think stuck out the most and why?
I would say EKU stuck out.
Yeah.
Why? I would say because as soon as I got to camp, they had invited me to their camp. As soon as I got there, their eyes was already on me, and throughout the drills, just complimenting me, giving me daps, and then one-on-ones, it got even better. It was good job, good rep. We're gonna have to see you at camp. We're gonna have you talk to the head coach. So it was just good. The whole camp, whole camp, it was great experience too.
Yeah, and I would agree. I would say that was probably your best camp that you had. Coaches, he clamped everything down. He played different positions, and I was there to witness everything that he just said. They definitely like Green's athletic ability, his size, his ability to cover, to run, and just him as a person. Like you said, humble young man, quiet, but once he steps on the field, he's all business. So I will ask you this, and I talked to Jay White just a few minutes ago about this. The mental part of the game, especially like we said, if you guys could see the line for the receivers, it was like 1 million receivers. In some camps, let's just say it was like 20 DBs. And some of those guys on the DB side got multiple reps because just nobody seems like they want to play the defensive back position because, of course, that's one of the hardest positions to play. But Damari, speaking to that, what was the like your mental going from camp to camp, not knowing who you're going to face? I know it can be intimidating sometimes where you see maybe a taller receiver versus a small, quicker receiver, and you saying, man, these guys may be fresh because this may be their first camp. Well, I've been on the bus and I've already been to like 6 and 7 camps, and I'm on day 7. What was the mental like stepping into each camp, knowing that that could be a possibility when you faced different receivers at each camp?
Definitely, I say the mental was a little bit challenging because first we had to, it was long trips, 7-8 hour trips, and then we get into the hotel around like 12, 1 o'clock, and going to pick up early, yoga. So I definitely it was a little challenging, really, because I had to get multiple reps at state. I was 15 reps at this. it was a little challenging, but nothing I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this will be my last question for you.
Mhm.
Now that you're back here and you're back in Florida, I know you started practicing back with the high school team. What are some of the things you're going to bring knowledge wise from the camp to the game here in Florida to the high school? What are you gonna bring, I should say, over from what you've gained knowledge wise from the camps over to um in your high school career?
Um, just that I already had that dog mentality. I say, just helping my teammates get that mentality, and like helping them out with certain leverages, like the leverage that I learned that got me to that position. So I'd say it's just helping some of my teammates out, and also communication too. That's big for the secondary. That's what we had to learn at some camps too, communication. So that too. So
Gotcha.
Mhm. Yes,
What is
sir.
some things? What is last question, Drew, for him? Because
Are you good,
I
bro?
always test him from a mental standpoint. But what has the bus tour taught you? Not from the sports side, but from a personal, like you were saying how you had to get up early to go into like for meetings, yoga, just meeting early when you knew like that was primarily for the quarterbacks to warm up, but BJ wanted everybody there at 7, and at times you could have been like, but I'm not even a quarterback, I'm the only really defensive back, and you were by yourself a lot of times when the quarterbacks was warming up and doing drills. You were by yourself working on technique and trying to get yourself prepared mentally for these camps. What do you think that's taught you coming into this season as you prepare for your senior season?
I'll say that it taught me like you don't need a group of friends to like look out. You can do that stuff by yourself. Like
Mm.
you don't need everybody to be around you. You go to your own song, your own corner.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. Go
Oh,
ahead,
that
Drew.
is big. Especially as a DB, man. You might be on that island, you know what I mean? All you got is yourself sometimes, you feel me? Nah, but D Green, dog, this kid was definitely my top riser, like I said, on the tour. I knew he could play, man, just hearing it from Pops, you know what I mean? I believe Pops, but just to get eyes on it and just to see him, like he said, rack up the reps, not be afraid of the moment, you know what I mean? For some of these DBs, it be sometimes like 5 or 6 of them and 100 wide receivers. So you got to be next up, and you got to keep going, keep going. You got to be conditioned, and you got to be confident and not scared to get bombed on, man. That's why a lot of these kids don't even want to do 1v1s because they might be a 4-star kid or whatever and go out there and get strapped by a D Green, or they might get head top. So just shouts out to this young man for just having the confidence in himself to perform and keep going throughout all these days. Let me ask you though, D Green, man, what's one of the most challenging parts on the tour? And what were some of the ways you overcame it?
I say one of the challenging parts was just the long bus rides, really.
Yeah.
Bus, but I overcame it by like staying focused, locking in. Like this, what who I'm like. I was thinking about who I was doing it for. Like
Mm-hmm.
really back home, and like this what it takes. So if this
Mm-hmm.
what I gotta do to get it, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not sure if Coach Green asked you this, but what was one of your favorite colleges that we attended? Whether it was the facilities, just the competition, or how you connected with the DB coach. What was one or two of your favorite colleges that we went to?
Uh, EKU was my favorite college. I see. Um,
Okay,
me and
you
they
y'all hear that?
me and DB, they DB coach had a real long conversation. We talked, we chatted up, exchanged numbers. Got a chance to talk to the head coach too. And
Yeah.
the second is probably um UAB. I talked to UAB coach, and we chatted it up. He just texted me the other day too.
Yeah. Nah, man. Hey, UAB and EKU, dog. I'm not sure. You need to eat this type of kid up, man. This kid is the type of kid that will make you look good, right? You bring him in off your face. He puts a year or two of weight training and nutrition in, and he turns into an All-American defensive back, right? So definitely will be tagging some of you guys. I know you guys got eyes on this kid too because he's starting to get some calls post-bus tour, right? So these coaches definitely got him on his radar. Good speed, and he performed well, right? So they'll definitely be reaching out to him more. I'll be putting some of those highlights in from the bus tour as well, so you guys can see, hey, we're not just talking him up. There's not just Pops talking about him. There's not just, showing him love. No, he scrapped up, right? And he definitely performed well and finished as a top riser on the tour. And Coach Green, you asked some really solid questions there, the last ones I heard, and it pretty much encapsulated what I wanted to hear from the young brother. But just reiterate this one more time for me, Green, for the college coaches that's watching, man. What's some of the things that you worked on in the spring and this summer period that you wanted to, showcase on the tour and that you feel like, you'll be able to excel at throughout the fall?
Really, I worked on my man technique, press man and off man. Thing I worked on is getting the ball at the highest point, going deep and going to get at the top safety too. So, yeah. And, my technique and my drills.
Okay. Hey, man, 2025 DB, Lakewood High School, man. Really solid defensive back. Another well-spoken young man. Definitely has a solid foundation at home. You're looking at one of the people that's poured into this young man. But from yourself, D Green, young D Green, let's give the people some thanks that's poured into your dream, whether that's Pops, some of these coaches. Just give the people some thanks that's supporting you on the way, brother.
I want to thank my dad for investing in me, taking me on a tour. And I want to thank Coach BJ for letting me get on the tour because it was mainly quarterbacks, but he let me get on the tour. He believed in me. He kept me going, kept pushing me. And I want to thank the film crew and the write-up crew, especially Coach Drew. You feel me? Getting me in there, keeping me in there with reps, telling me how. I want to thank the sponsors too for keeping us build our body armor, all the other sponsors, keeping our bodies recovered and yoga. So that's right.
Hey man, we're super proud of this kid. I want D Green to throw out some comments real quick before we close them out, and then we'll go on from there. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, man. I watched him work. I seen the hard work that he's put in, man, and just for an example, he wrestled at a certain weight. He is a 3-star wrestler. For you guys that don't know, he is a 3-star wrestler. Actually moved up to a 3.5-star. He don't like saying that, but I'll say it. He just like to say 3-star. But he is a 3.5, close to a 4-star wrestler. And so he had to make that transition. So he wrestled at like 158 maybe. But when he weighed in, when he got to the camp, he was at 175. So he was able to make that transition from, putting on that weight. If coaches didn't see his body, he's, chiseled at 175 and still can move like he's 158. So, again, I've witnessed the hard work that he's put in, gaining that weight, being able to still be a lockdown corner. And then also being able to play multiple positions in the secondary, the safety, the nickel, and the corner. He's excelling at that as well. So I'm just proud of him, man. I know him personally, just as my son, but as an athlete, like I said, definitely a young man that is on the rise. And you guys definitely need to take notice of him, Damari Green, a young man that's just he's been just a kid that has made his path. I was able to play in the CFL, and everybody would try to compare him to me and say, man, you need to be like your dad. But I would tell him, no, be your own person. You want to be better than me. You want to be the one who people say, man, I want to be like Damari versus being like being like me. So again, bro, I'm proud of your son, and I can't wait to see this year and all the success that's going to follow.
So I appreciate it, dog.
Yeah, really wise words and insight from Coach. Damari, we are proud of you, man. I know Pop said that, but hey, I'm proud of you too, man. Like I said, you made me a believer on the tour. Just excited to see what you can do this fall season with Lakewood. Really high on you guys. I know you guys can push for a state championship. I know that's big time on your goals as well. But no, it's not over for this kid. Definitely put his name on the map with this bus tour with some of these colleges. But he already got colleges interested in this game already. This just stamped him as the real deal. So I'll have this kid on the rundown throughout the fall. I have him back on the show to give you guys an update. But we want to just bring these two kids on, man. It was a consensus that, hey, two got to rise, that some got to rise to the top, man. And these two definitely did for sure. So I'm just glad you guys hopped on the show. Thank you guys for, giving us some content to write because, hey, we can't do it without you guys, man. So thank you, D Green, Damari. Thank you for coming on the show. Coach, you stay on for sure, but just want to send Damari out on his way. We'll be talking here soon, brother. Thank you, man.
So for sure. Appreciate y'all.
All love, brother. All love, baby. Keep working, brother. You got it.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Whew, man. Hey, guys. Man, first of all, thank you guys. If you made it this far, you're a real one, right? I really appreciate you guys. A longer show. But first of all, make sure you guys are following the kids, man. Definitely will get their social medias out there. Make sure you guys are following Coach Green. I'll give him a chance to give his socials out. And for sure, make sure you following me as well and follow the platform, right? We're definitely trying to build something with the rundown. There's plenty of people that do it, but we're trying to do it the right way where we connecting with these brothers a little bit different, right? We're coming a little bit different with this. It doesn't work without you guys' support. So one thing I do want to do is give Coach Green some time to close out. Really appreciate this brother for joining the show and being a great co-host today. Well-spoken, experienced OG in the game. So just glad to have him right beside me today. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, man, it was an awesome show. Had two really awesome young men on, and they actually make our jobs easy.
Yeah.
When you can sit down, have a good conversation with some bright young men who's headed and has a bright future, it makes our job, like I said, a lot easier. And it's just a blast to be able to highlight their accomplishments and all the stuff that they've done throughout the year on the bus tour, more specifically, and give them their flowers while they're here. But to the fans, to all the coaches that's going to watch the show, we'll definitely have more guys to highlight. But these two were just at the top of the list when it came to them needing to be, highlighted for the things that they've done. And what better two than these two? Because coming into it, it was an unknown, right? We just had a bunch of kids that we knew can play. And at the end of the day, we was looking for those ones who would rise to the top. And these two exemplify what we were looking for. And so, again, I know you guys has heard us say it repeatedly, but these young men definitely were the examples of what the show, the rundown, is, to give you everything that they've done and what they deserve. So thank you to Drew for putting this together today and letting these guys be able to speak their piece. So, sir.
Tell them where they can find you at really quick, Coach.
Yes, on Twitter, you can find me at Coach Green _3. On Facebook, you can find me at Inside GZ Sports. And then on Instagram, same thing. I changed it so it'll be a little easier to find. But yeah, those where you can find me on my socials.
And really quick, man, I'm going to keep you guys on for a couple more minutes. And I hate to do this at the end, but I do. As Coach Green said, there are some other kids that we could have brought on the show, right? That deserve some recognition. So I just want to throw out some names and some nominations out there from some of the kids that attended the tour. Definitely I think a unanimous decision for the top standout on the tour was Kendall Johnson, 2025 wide receiver out of Zephyr Hills Christian Academy. Just a dog, right? The Madden-type creative player that does it all on the field, from kicking to catching, passing, anything you want. But he's definitely a Division I wide receiver. Once he gets everything done from off the field and on the field, he's a Power 5 kid. But he was for sure my top standout, right? Kendall Johnson. These two right here, two Polk County boys I want to give a shout out to is Joel Morris, 2026 quarterback out of Sumner High School, and Jerry Thomas, wide receiver out of Lakeland High School, 2026 as well. Just two dogs that I've had an opportunity to watch develop over the past couple of years. Joel being one of the top 2026 quarterbacks, still has a long way to go, but he's making some strides and locking in some legit interest. And Jerry Thomas, man, has all the potential in the world. Once he puts it together, he'll be a big-time wide receiver prospect, Power 5 kid. I want to let Coach give some nominations. I don't want to take them all, but shout out to the young pups, right? The Miles McDonalds, the Braylon Caves, and the Braden Humerites. These are some young quarterbacks that locked in on a long tour, that gave it their all, you know what I mean? And I'm sure got on some college coaches' radar as some young pups, right? But I'm sure Coach got some more kids that we could throw out, and I'm going to let him give some of his nominations.
Yeah, well, definitely one, as you mentioned, was Kendall Johnson. Like you said, a Madden-type creative player. But just his size, his ability, able to get open. I don't think anybody was able to stop him all camp, every camp that he participated in. If he didn't catch the ball, it was because it was a bad throw on the quarterback's behalf. He was definitely one. Jerry Thomas, another kid, posing 6'2", 200 kid that you saw. You was able to see me interview. And he felt he was the best in Polk County. So we're going to hold him to that and see what he does. The pressure's on. You say you're the best. We want to see that. Right. And then from the quarterbacks, some of the guys that stood out to me that many people didn't talk about or maybe wasn't publicized a lot, but I was enamored with his arm strength and accuracy, was Gavin Gallish, a quarterback out of Osceola. Kid that's definitely under the radar that I think that with the right offense, man, he can do some damage, put up some numbers. The kid, Aiden Wallace out of Lakewood, he's going to be, man, a kid that could easily throw for 2,500 because of the offense that they run. He was accurate all camp, strong arm, zip on the ball. The amazing thing was, and this is just hats off to BJ, but this is concerning the quarterbacks. We had coaches, and Coach, you can attest to this. We had coaches asking us, pulling us to the side saying, who are these quarterbacks? You can tell they've been trained by somebody who knows what they're doing, because all of the kids that wore the neon sleeve, we had neon sleeves for our quarterbacks and all the top dogs, just so they can stand out from the crowd and from everybody at the camps. And all of individuals, all the prospects on the bus that had those green sleeves, they were dogs. Like, they performed. Everybody who saw those green sleeves knew what time it was. And like, our quarterback had those sleeves, bro, and they were on point every time, man. Sure. John Angelo was a kid that impressed. He was able to grab offers on the tour. Out of Tarpon Springs High School. And so when you look around at what it could have been, had he stayed home, had he not attended the tour, who knows what the outcome would have been. So that's what the tour is about. And like I said, overall success, because outside of the offers, he has gained experience mentally. He has gained experience and exposure that you can't gain that anywhere else. And so that was the biggest thing that I took away. And lastly, my last guy that I thought that impressed and was able to, get some notoriety that maybe people didn't mention was quarterback. What was the kid? Like, we had the small guys, the younger guys like B Max. He's always a household name. Rajon was a small kid.
Braden, Himmerite.
Himmerite, and some of those. Miles McDonald. I'm just gonna say shout out to all the quarterbacks. Chase Forte, kid that came from Arkansas. You know what I'm saying. All the men that was on the bus. Jaden Olafson, I did a thing with
Yeah.
him. Dylan Mara,
Transfer kid, Evan Brady.
yeah, Evan Brady. Again, if I'm missing you, I apologize, but our kids did a heck of a job. BJ's doing a great job with those guys, and
Yeah.
it definitely showed. So hats off to all the young men who was on the tour.
Really quick, Coach, and last but not least, my second biggest riser on the tour. Can't forget this kid, man. Definitely a bus tour type kid that a lot of people didn't really know about. Plays for a big time program, so his name can fall under the radar. And that's the trench monster, man, Dylan Bryant, right? This kid here did not lose many reps in the 1v1 session. I know we got eyes on the quarterbacks a lot of the time, but just going over the film with D and Anthony, our other film guy for this time around, this kid was a monster, right? Him and old Caden Paganese, I know I'm not saying it correctly. I'm sure his granddad will get on me about that. I'm sorry, brother. But Caden and Dylan Bryant, man, those kids were monsters in the trench monster department. We had Josh Barnes down there as well out of Sun Lake High School. He picked up an offer as well. But, man, we had some trench monster guys as well. Wanted to give them guys some shout-outs because a lot of the attention was on the quarterbacks, and they got pulled to the side to another field sometime around. But just for those kids to stay locked in and put on for Florida and put on for those sleeves that they were wearing, just hats off to those kids for locking in. A Dylan Bryant for sure, my second riser on the tour.
Absolutely. Yeah. He was a kid that we got to see early that he was going to be a dog from that UAB camp all the way up to his last camp, man. And I'm surprised that no one pulled the trigger, but I'm sure that he has several suitors that will come knocking come time for kids to start making decisions where they're going to go down in December, January time. I'm pretty sure he'll have a long list of schools that's going to be vying for his services. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Hey, man. Hey, y'all. Almost an hour-long show, man. Y'all got to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you liking and subscribing to the rundown. Make sure you following Coach D Green, Real News 102 on Twitter, and make sure you following the kids, right? That's what it's all about. Make sure you following the two prospects that we had on. That's 2026 quarterback Jaylen White out of Clearwater High School and 2025 defensive back Damari Green out of Lakewood High School. Two schools that got potential to push for state championships and two of the top kids on the bus tour. Shout out to Coach BJ Hall for having us on, man. We rock with my dog, what Coach Green just said, what he doing for the kids, having them prepared. It's just invaluable, and we're seeing around the country, man. A lot of these kids aren't getting the training and the experience that they're getting from these tours and just from these sessions. So shout out Coach BJ Hall. Shout out Coach Green for locking in with me for an hour. We definitely wanted to have this recap show in for the kids. We might have another one. You know what I'm saying? Depends on you guys, right? If you guys are liking and subscribing, we'll have another one, right? The show only goes as far as the support. Thank you for those that are supporting. Coach, stay on for me. I'm going to close this out. Like I said, man, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, brothers. Let's go. Let's show support, right? Peace. Much love, y'all.
Yes, sir.